A very sobering remote viewing prediction that came true right before our eyes, right after we had documented it. Hi there, remote viewing fans, Dick Allgire here. A gray day in Honolulu, appropriate, as it's not easy to do news events, and when you predict something tragic, in this case 67 people lost their lives, and then we see it happen, it does affect us. But this is a remarkable thing. Yesterday, early evening U.S. Eastern Time, we finished our debrief in which we described a midair collision involving a jet and a smaller object and then a plane crash in some detail. And then within hours of us documenting this, it happened. So let's take a look. We begin, as you all know, there was a tragic plane crash in DC, an airliner coming in on final approach at Reagan Airport was hit by a helicopter and everyone perished, and both aircraft went into the Potomac River. This is Daz Smith prior to the event, describing the event.
I had some kind of dropping thing here. So an aerial event, a plane related, or an aerial vehicle at least, that had a fuselage part to it, and it would be hit by something, and it had this big hole in the side of it, lots of damage. So it feels like a collision or hit to the an aerial vehicle with a damaged fuselage. And it's a bit of a worrying incident. So it had three parts. It has this moving aerial vehicle here in flight. Then there would be like a collision event to it, so there'd be really bad damage, like a hole to it. And then it would kind of come down in an emergency landing type situation. I tried to work out what hit it, and it felt like a solid object, small, and it traveling, and it was, kind of like this kind of shape to it. So it felt like it was a man-made object and not a bird that did this. Feels accidental, like a surprise event. I had like Lockerbie vibes, a really kind of Lockerbie type broken plane imagery when I was doing this as well, that kept coming in and out. So yeah, hopefully not in that regard. But the damage or hoe felt substantial, very messy. Feels like a little bit like an explosive collision of two aerial moving objects. Then there's an emergency with investigations. It doesn't feel like a bird hit. It feels like a smaller object, but it feels like it's man-made.
And here is Naeem Vendreas also describing the event.
A significant plane crash, plummet, bodies, rubble, feels like an accident to me. Catastrophic, loss of life. I get the words like royal, delegates, ministers, so maybe there's some government people on here. I even get the word Air Force, so that makes me think maybe it's some kind of government related plane crash or something like that. But yeah, falling, crashing, tumbling, rubble, hull, body of the plane in pieces.
And the predominant image right after the crash last night was one of all the emergency vehicles and the flashing lights. The horizon just filled with flashing lights. And that's what I had seen and described. And I just see a lot of police lights. So one of those events where the blue and red lights, armed officers, barricades, rows closed. So big event will make national news with a lot of police. So not a pleasant hit, but an amazing hit that was documented at futureforecastinggroup.com. It always, it causes us some unease when we do this because we don't really fully understand the process. Like, how is this possible? Yet we do it on a consistent basis. So an ongoing experiment that we're conducting using remote viewing, and it's serious stuff.